All right, welcome to the first edition of ToolTime, a show where I'm going to go over a couple of different tools that have been recommended to me from Twitter or things that I want to look at or anything like that. So this week we're going to look at FeroxBuster by Ben Epi Reicher. And FeroxBuster is a tool that is a directory brute forcing tool or a content discovery tool, anything you want to call in that category that basically fuzzes a URL. It can do all of those functions. FeroxBuster has a number of different features which come with a full-fledged directory brute forcer. So things like you can proxy it, and here you can see the help for the tool. We've installed it already. You can proxy it through burp or any other proxy that you want to send your connection through. You can customize all the things that you should be able to customize in a content discovery tool, like your user agent, your strings, your cookies, any headers. You can change the method of the tool itself, and you can add extensions to the lists that you load in through the content discovery tool. You also have the option to filter responses that get shown to you through the tool, which is really kind of one of the best parts of these tools. Many of you will have used tools like dir or FUF or any of these types of tools. So very familiar here in the output of kind of what you can filter. And so here you can filter by lines and status codes and words, and you can even do regex, which is probably one of the most important filters that you would want to try out when doing directory brute forcing, because a lot of times you'll get custom content and custom redirects, basically. So the reason I found out about FeroxBuster was because Ben, the author who wrote the tool, hadn't released it a year ago, had contacted me when I was talking about JavaScript parsing scripts like Gerben Gervato's link finder. And link finder, for me, I use it on all the JavaScript files I find in my recon technology or my recon automation, and it will parse out JavaScript files, endpoints, and parameters and things like that. But one thing I hadn't really seen is many tools who were taking inline JavaScript that exists already in a page, not just in a .js file, and parsing it, as well as any improvements to kind of the original regex that link finder put out there. And so many people said that they were doing just link finder and appending like a base URL to the link finder output and stuff like that. So Ben contacted me and said, hey, my tool, my directory brute forcing tool, actually does this with the -e option here, the extract links, which is pretty cool. So it'll take from the response body, whether it's HTML or a JavaScript file or anything, it'll take and extract links from it and then make new requests through the directory brute forcing tool. So you make sure you get your coverage when you're doing this, which is really, really cool. It also has, kind of the general things that the normal content discovery tool will need to have, like the ability to change word lists, to add, different levels of recursion and threads, and rate limit the number of requests, which you will come into when you're doing a lot of this fuzzing. You don't want to overwhelm the server, or else you might get blacklisted by a web application firewall or a CDN firewall or something like that. And then it has a whole bunch of backup stuff. You can output in JSON, has a debug and silent function, everything like that. So pretty on par with something like FUF or FUF, whatever you want to call it, as far as directory brute forcing tool. So today we're going to show it off. It's already been installed, and the default list that FeroxBuster wants to use is the SecLists project, which is actually a project that is my project and Daniel Miessler's here at github.com, Daniel Miessler/SecLists. And what it wants to use as its default file when you run it out of the box is the raft lists. Now, the raft lists are directory brute forcing lists or content discovery lists that were created many years ago. I think 6 or 7 or 8 maybe by this time now at Black Hat. And a consultancy, I can't remember which consultancy, made these lists. And what these lists are comprised of is basically they went out and spidered all of the robots.txt files on the internet, and then they took all of the content of the robots.txt directories, files, and paths in those robots.txt and put them into a word list for hackers to use. So it's kind of a collection of things that you don't want people to find, because usually robots.txt files are specifying places where people don't want the Google spider or the search engine spiders basically traversing. And so the raft files are content discovery files which have various sizes. And so for FeroxBuster, it uses the medium directories, I believe, medium directories file here. And so this will need to be installed. When you try to run it out of the box, it'll tell you where it wants the SecLists discovery web content directory. And then you'll be able to go ahead and start with this base. You can also specify your own word list, obviously, with one of the commands and stuff like that. So we're going to look at Capital One today, which is a HackerOne program. Been looking at it lately, and we'll just try to, out of the box, see what we get if we just do FeroxBuster-U CapitalOne.com. And what you'll see here is we get pretty spammed with requests, and that's because Capital One you're getting a 200 for these, but you're also getting a custom redirect to a not found page. So this will start to spam you a little bit. And so what you want to do here is cancel out of this Control-C, and you're going to want to add a tag to -R to make sure it follows redirects. And so that's one of the kind of core features out of the box you want to make sure that you're doing. There may be reasons why you don't want redirects later on in different scans, but for this one we're going to specify -R. Now you can see that the tool is much more manageable. We're getting real results, etc. There is some automatic filtering that goes into to FeroxBuster, which is great. And the automatic filtering will try to filter out like not found URL length and stuff like that. So they try to do like a wildcard for anything like that. And so you can see it's starting to bring back results. Now what's really cool about Ferox Oxide is it's fast. It's really fast compared to some of the other directory brute force content discovery tools I've used. It has a lot of features, feels very much like FF, so kudos for that. It also has this technology called the scan management menu. So if I press enter here while we're using the tool, it will pause the tool, and it will be able to basically let you add new hosts to the tool, which is pretty cool. It'll also let you scan it also let you cancel any of the running threads that are going inside of the tool or tasks that are going inside of the tool. So you could say cancel, number 1 through number 9 on this list because I don't want to fuzz them anymore or do content discovery on them anymore. Maybe one is like a product/product page and that has like a million links after it, but you're not going to get anything out of directory brute forcing the products directory and going through all of those. So you could cancel that section of your directory brute forcing. And so this is pretty cool. The one thing I don't see here, and I've been waiting for a feature like this pause in the middle of your scan type content discovery tool, is the ability to add new filters. And that would be really cool in this tool because a lot of times what you'll end up is not just for a custom 404 page or a custom page not found thing that we're doing right now, but you also get like random other response codes or other redirects when you're hitting certain paths that you'll start to see when you're doing a lot of content discovery. And it would be really cool to have a tool like this that has the scan management menu, but it could also add custom filters while you're doing the scan. And so that's one thing that's kind of missing from this idea, but this idea is spot on to put the scan management section in here. So really cool to be able to have this, and then you can just go back to fuzzing by pressing the enter button. So enter brings up the scan management menu, and enter resumes the scan. So we're going to Control-C here. So you can find FeroxBuster at GitHub here under epi052. You can find SecLists at GitHub Daniel Miessler/SecLists. The documentation is on GitHub pages linked on the GitHub for FeroxBuster. And then you can find Ben at epi052 on Twitter, and you can give him a follow for any updates on the tool that you want to see. So let me know what you think about this kind of segment, ToolTime, and I will be continuing to try to make little intros to new tools that I find. Is this going to replace FF for me or FUF? I don't know yet. I'm very familiar with FUF. There are some little inconsistencies across kind of each tool. They are similarly fast. This one might even be a little bit faster than FUF, so I wanna play with it some more. But just after a night of testing and kind of using it, I really like it. It's up in that tier of a FF for me. So thanks everybody for watching. We'll catch you next time.